and welcome to Friday's General Hospital Recap. As always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos or recaps, and also be a beauty and hit that bell down below so you get notified every time we upload a new recap. So at the boxing rink, poor Charles, Jason, and Curtis meet up for information. Curtis is trying to track down Betsy, and Heather isn't talking. Literally, she's taken a vow of silence. She apparently hasn't talked in months. Poor Charles Jason has a new direction for him to go to, Andre Maddox. Curtis finds it hard to believe that Andre would drop everything and leave without a reason, which means there's a reason out there. And Curtis is on it. He always knew there was something about Andre. And poor Charles Jason leaves, and Jordan comes into the boxing rink, and she asks for Curtis's help on a case. No paper trail. She wants him to track down Andre. And Curtis is like, I'm already on that case. And she's not even the first person today to ask him to look into Andre. What's going on with Andre? Jordan is good with him working kind of double on this, unofficially for her and also for Jason Morgan. She tells Curtis Andre's disappearance has to do with a WSB program dealing with memory mapping, and immediately comes together for Curtis like, oh, that's why two people think they're Jason Morgan. And I'm like, I don't think Curtis gets enough credit in this show. I really don't. Jordan doesn't know who they're dealing with at the top of this, because Andre's not the top of this, and that's what's making her very uneasy and where she wants to focus. So her focus is different than Jason's focus, and she doesn't ever think she knew Andre at all. At Lisa Frank's place, Franco, Liz, and Jake are having a movie night. Jake picked The Parent Trap. Twin movie, how funny. And Elizabeth says that Jake doesn't even know what's going on with the twin thing, so that's not why he picked this movie. And she wants to tell Jake, and Franco says no. Liz is afraid of Jake finding out from someone else before they tell him, and Franco doesn't think it's their place, it's Jason's. And Elizabeth is like, you know what, I see that, I'll talk to Jason. And then there's someone at the door. It's a delivery person. They have a package. It's the painting, twins painting that Andre bought. It's from Andre. He leaves a little note, I know you'll know what to do. Elizabeth is like, what does that mean? And Franco's like, oh, he wanted me to leave everything in the past. You know that's not what he meant. Okay, we both know that. Franco is leaving for a few minutes. He will be back. And Elizabeth calls poor Charles Jason, and she wants to talk about Jake. So poor Charles Jason shows up. She thinks it's time to tell Jake about his twin, and poor Charles Jason thinks it's too complicated right now, and Elizabeth thinks that he needs to be prepared to and hear it from them, because it's only a matter of time. This is all over town. Jake comes downstairs, and poor Charles Jason tries to simply break the situation down for him. This other guy, he's his twin, but he believes that he's him, and some people also believe him, but he and his mom know the truth that he's his father, and nothing is ever going to change that. At the gallery, Kiki was in the gallery studying. Ava comes in, and Kiki wants to know if Ava wants to talk about the flash drive, and Ava says that Griffin and the other doctor will not do the procedure, and Kiki is sad but also glad. Franco comes in. He brought the painting to Ava. He wants it sold and use the proceeds for Kiki, and Kiki takes it back into the storeroom. Franco tells Ava he wanted the painting out of the house. It's a reminder of his dark past, and Ava asks Franco what he's going to do now that there's two Jasons coming after him. Franco wants everyone to shut up about the Jasons. He can't anymore. And Ava sees right through Franco and his insecurity about Elizabeth, and Ava doesn't think that he's just being paranoid about Elizabeth possibly leaving him for this other Jason. Those are valid concerns. And I'm like, way to stir the pot, like seriously. And then Ava gets super personal, that she talks about these angelic souls that they align themselves with, and that these angelic souls want to pull them into the light, but it's really because they're afraid of going into the darkness with them. And then Franco leaves, and Ava is looking up unethical plastic surgeons. At Nathan and Maxie's, Maxie thinks Chet is owed the truth about what's going on. Nathan still tries to cover, but Amy's like, no, she's right. Let's talk about this. Yes, she's asked Manlanders. They sit down, and Amy explains everything to Chet. He means the world to her. He taught her everything she knows, and Maxie goes across the apartment to better hide the situation she has going on the desk. Amy is sorry. She wanted to help him, and she was afraid that he wouldn't accept her help. Chet can't believe that she risks... Okay, so I want to impress upon all this that this is a very calm situation. that stayed calm, and Chet is taking this very well, and he's not reacting like Amy thought he would react. So he can't believe she risked committing fraud for him. He's humbled by it, and that they all did. They all did this for him, and Nathan was happy to help. Amy hopes that he doesn't hate her, and Chet hugs her, and it's like, oh, I'm happy to see this. Chet doesn't feel so alone for the first time in a long time, and he'll never be alone again. Chet and Amy are gonna get going. Nathan tells Maxie she made the right call, telling Chet the truth. At Aurora, Nina comes into Aurora's office. Sam's in there. Nina wants to talk about Crimson's budget, and then she brings up Jason, if he is really Jason, and how the sale of Derek Wells Media could have been affected if he's not. And like, I feel like underneath it all, Nina's scheming because Valentine was interested in buying it. So I feel like there's an underlying scheming to her. Because I feel like Nina is very up on this, like, instead of a high horse, a spy horse, because of what's going on with Cassie. So she feels like she can, like, infiltrate Aurora too. So Nina sits down. Nina relates to the Jason who just came back. She can't imagine what it's like to have to fight for your identity. You know, nobody fought the fact she was Nina Reeves. And Sam says that he's not the only one this is hard for. Sam wants to be alone. Nina won't leave her alone though. Sam says that they're not friends. Nina is an employee. Let's keep this professional. Nina reminds us all that the two of them were once fighting over Silas. And that's not who they are anymore. And Nina thinks that's why Sam is resisting the guy who showed up, who said he was Jason. Nina doesn't mean any disrespect by any of this though. She's just trying to help. She feels that she's been in a situation similar to this. And Nina wants to be a confidant for Sam, and Sam indulges for a second. Sam says she's not afraid of facing the possibility that this new guy is the real Jason. Nina asks if she's afraid of being in love with two men. Sam is adamant that she loves her husband, and they worked really hard building this life they have. And Nina asks if she loves Jason now or who he used to be. On the bridge, Robin finds Steve Burt and Jason on the bridge. It's so good to see her. She's kind of reeling from all this information too. The whole thing is such a shock. Robin asks how this could happen, and he says it's him, it's Jason. He tells her he woke up at a clinic, and she says this other guy who was Jason Morgan has Jason Morgan's spirit and heart. And he took her place in the elevator during that whole bombing situation. And Jason's like, yeah, that's my twin. Like, that's how this is happening. Robin thinks that maybe he's the twin. And Steve Burt and Jason invokes memories between them, very personal memories. And Steve Burt and Jason says the other guy can talk the memories, but there's no feeling behind them, which is exactly what we've been saying. Steve Burt and Jason doesn't push it, though, because he's not a pusher. It's fine how it is. Her believing him would just be the icing on the cake. And the phrase resonates with her, and we get a flashback from I don't even know when, but it's when they were kind of together, and the icing on the cake was a very powerful phrase in that moment. And he says her being here would be the better of the best, just like she said in the flashback, and that seals it for her. This is Jason Morgan. This is the Jason she's always knew. Robin brings up Scout and Noah, and she's like, oh, wait, that's not right. And Steve Burt and Jason is just happy that Sam and the family are happy, and that Sam has her little girl, and he's just genuinely happy for her, which, again, I think is like the difference between the two Jasons. And now end scene. Sam tells Nina that she loves her husband and is committed to this business as well, and now this little meeting is over. Okay, bye. And Sam looks at the picture of her and Port Charles Jason. She thinks about what she said to Steve Burt and Jason about love that just is, and it's there, and you just choose not to act on it. Nina gets an alert on her phone and is not happy. Maxie is about to tell Nathan the result of the pregnancy test, and I can only assume it's positive because otherwise there really wouldn't be anything to tell. But she gets an alert on her phone from the invader. They broke a story about how he is not asked Manlanders. Ruh-roh. Ava is reading an article on Crimson about a questionable Dr. Gregory Zajac. Kiki comes back in. Ava covers and says she's looking over inventory. Robin can't imagine what Sam's going through right now. And Steve Burt and Jason tells Robin how Sonny and Carly and Diane are working on getting his fingerprints, but he says he doesn't care about using the name Jason Morgan. He really does not care. He just wants to find out who did this to him and his brother. Okay, so he seems more open to this brother idea than Port Charles Jason is. Curtis believes Andre just got caught up in something. He gets an alert. Turns out he hacked into Andre's personal account, but Jordan wants to know what he just found out. There was a shipment to an address on Elm Street, and Curtis has the IP address that Andre just used a few hours ago. Poor Charles Jason is leaving Elizabeth's house. He tells Elizabeth, yes, this was the right thing to do. I'm glad you called me over. He thanks her for believing in him. She hugs him, and Franco is watching all of this from like behind a tree. And I'm like, great, lovely, insecure Franco. That's the last thing we need right now. All right, so that is it for Fridays. I will see you a smidge later for Patio Chat. All right, so I will see you then, and I hope you've had a great weekend. Okay, bye.